Peter, thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it. Peter, so give us a snapshot of consumption of Hulu from sort of the beginning days as a desktop destination to where it is today in terms of percentage of consumption on devices.
Sure. You know, when we started 8 years ago, Hulu was desktop only. And flash forward to today, and this is something that a lot of people just don't know, and I'm happy to share it. We're now 20% desktop, 20% mobile tablet, and 60% living room or devices. And those devices are, of course, Roku, the gaming platforms like PlayStation or Xbox, Chromecast, Fire TV. So they're taking our long-form television content and putting it up on the screen in the living room. So it's very much on demand. We have all the dynamic ad insertion that you want from a video interactive environment, and it's all happening in the living room. So that's something a lot of people don't know.
So how do, we've been talking about data and analytics, and it's very tough cross-screen, certainly on the home screen, right? So how do you kind of measure all of that?
Well, I'm working with both ComScore and Nielsen, and they know I'm seeing each other, so we're fully, for better or for worse, we have an open relationship. But we're, at Hulu, we're really trying to tackle the total audience measurement problem, and I just want to work with everybody who can help me solve that problem. So in the living room, for example, we know that whenever you talk about a living room environment, you know, one stream doesn't necessarily equal one person. We know there's co-viewers in the living room, and we want to capture that. And that's not something you're going to capture through any pixel or any line of code. We have to do some different kind of research, for example. And so much of our viewership happens through Hulu Plus, which is a subscription service. We need to diagnose how many people might be sharing a subscription. You know, when someone signs up and you can see multiple touch points, is that one person with multiple screens, or is that a family sharing a subscription? Those are the challenges we face with the subscription-based service.
So clearly you guys are doing well, but we have some major advertising agency people here in the room. What do you tell them in terms of, well, we don't really have the analytics, but we do have an ad server, or how do you sort of, what is the pitch right now? And obviously you're successful at it, but how do you pitch that business and without that whole other part kind of together?
Well, that uncertainty exists for everybody. So what we just try and focus on is our strengths. I mean, we're very lucky that we've got the best of broadcast and cable television, and we've got long-form video. So I've got conventional pods like you enjoy on television. Maybe enjoy is not the right word, but we have a lighter commercial load than you see on TV, and that's good for the viewer. And for the advertiser, we make it so the viewer can't skip through those 2 or 3 spots per pod. And we've also made a decision a couple years ago that we're only going to charge for ads that were fully completed. And only charging for ads that are fully completed pretty much means I don't have to worry about the viewability challenge so much. Despite that, you know, we work with Moat, and our viewability numbers are through the roof. We're in 94, 95% range. So that's what I talk about with the marketer. The other thing is, you know, we do look a lot like television because of the content, but our audience is about 20 years younger than linear television. 82% of the audience is 18 to 49. So all these things combined, like commercial load, you can't skip the ads, only paying for completions, great viewability numbers. That's where we start. And then if they want to see my sizzle reel, we can show it. But like those are the things that matter to buyers.
So there's a lot of talk about web originals and delivered directly, and you know, you guys have been at it for a while. We're obviously aware of what's going on with Amazon and Netflix. You're creating a lot of material also for over the top, which is the big part of your business. Tell us about web original content creation, where that stands, what we can expect at the NewFronts.
We have created some web originals that have got, you know, picked up 2, 3 seasons. For example, one of our better shows is called The Awesomes. It's an animated series by Seth Meyers, and he gets all of his friends from SNL to voice the show. But to be frank and candid, it's a modest size show in terms of really you know, if you compare it to like a House of Cards or Orange is the New Black, we know we need an original that really can crystallize the brand in the hearts of viewers. So this year we've hired a gentleman named Craig Erwick from Warner Horizon who did big shows like Prison Break and others, and we're taking big swings. So the first big announcement he made was we're taking a Stephen King novel called 11/22/63, and we're going to have it produced by J.J. Abrams. So right there, you know, we're going big. And 11/22/63 is about a time traveler who goes back to disrupt the assassination of JFK. So it'll be a 9-hour event produced by J.J. Abrams, big topic. So, I mean, that's just going to be a huge effort for us. We've also announced partnerships with Amy Poehler. We're doing a show with her called Difficult People, starring Billy Eichner. He's most famous for a Fuse program called Billy on the Street, and he was on the Emmys. He's someone you're going to want to watch. Really funny guy. So that's a half-hour comedy. And the other one, that's a couple others that are noteworthy. Jason Reitman, who did Juno and Up in the Air, he's also doing a half-hour comedy for us called Casual People. And then finally, just this week, we announced, you know, everyone's looking at the YouTube talent pool, and we're not immune to it. So we signed up Freddie Wong to do a half-hour show, and he's most famous for his program called Video Game High School. You know, these guys, you've got to pay attention to these creators. They have 7 million subscribers. And if you can take any of their attention and direct it to your platform, chances are you're going to find some success. So those are the examples of how we're going to be taking our originals to the next level.
So Peter, there's been a lot of talk about programmatic video sales for the sell side. So tell us sort of where that fits in, if it does fit in, or how it might develop for Hulu.
Well, the way we look at programmatic, I mean, I don't like that word, so we try and break it down. I mean, I think programmatic for us means media automation. So we're trying to, you know, reduce the friction between the buy and sell side, stop all the nonsense of sending PDFs back and forth and change orders. So wherever we can find ways to do that, that's part of programmatic. Data is obviously part of programmatic, and we're, you know, we're going to have a DMP. We're going to try and find customers who want to match up databases. We have the good fortune of having a big subscriber base, so we have great first-party data. So data enablement, media automation, and I think the other big part of it is just inventory management. We've been selling OCR and VCE rating points for a couple years now, and when you start segmenting your audience that way, you're going to have pools of unsold inventory. So inventory management is a big part of what we're trying to do as well. You know, sometimes you're managing your inventory on spreadsheets, so we're trying to supercharge that with intelligence and data, so we can price accordingly and do interesting deals with pockets of unsold inventory as a result of selling so much data-informed inventory.
Great. And finally, tell us about Hulu. You've been there for a year. It's a joint venture. There's been you know, change in leadership, and you know, give us an idea of sort of where the company is, how it functions, not, you know, but sort of as a company, where it stands now and where you see it going.
Sure. When Hulu started, you know, it was the brainchild of Jeff Zucker and Peter Chernin of NBC and Fox, respectively. And the press called it Clown Co. because everyone was skeptical that two big media companies could peacefully coexist in a joint venture. And during the early days, I think there was a little bit of friction between the startup owners and their the startup managers and their owners. And today, you know, we've gone through some transition. We have a CEO, Mike Hopkins, who came from Fox. I came from NBC. Our CFO came from ABC. Our head of marketing comes from Netflix. So we've got a lot of people coming in to the next evolution of Hulu who see the owners as potential partners to help us navigate those waters. And similarly, the guys at ABC, NBC, and Fox also now understand that so much of what we build can be the future of their company. So I would characterize our current relationship and our current state as being really much more harmonious than it was, and I'm being totally candid, and much more cooperative. And everybody understands that this platform can really be the future of everything that's going on for the television business. So there's more cooperation, more investment, and more, I guess cooperation investment is the best way to put it, because the companies, ABC, NBC, and Fox, they all invested $250 million each back in August of 13 to recapitalize the company. And that money is fueling the content acquisitions, the original series that we're making. So everybody's really, optimistic that we're on the right side of where things are going.